This is a video explaining about hydraulic leak that we just had on the Olympia. So last night I got called in because the Olympia dumped its hydraulic fluid. Fortunately, it was outside at the time when it was dumping, and so the hose that it turned out being is this one here with the green on it, and it was right down in here on the bottom side of this hose, so it was kind of hard to see. But it was right there. It was a slit about that wide that had opened up, dumped all the fluid out pretty quick. Fortunately, there's check valves in this thing, so the bin was able to stay put, and Joe just put these down right away to make sure that in the event that something did let go, the bin was going to be staying up. And it's important that the bin stays up, because if the bin's down, it's going to be a lot harder to get access to the spot here where you have to fill the hydraulic fluid from, and also to change the hose. Fortunately, because of where it happened, with it being outside and the bin up and the location of the hose, it was pretty easy to get to the hose. I didn't even have to crawl under it, and I was able to just go down to Napa and get a new hose made up and put on the new hose. I'll put this panel back on. I'll refill the hydraulic level to about 3/4 of the tank. So you can see here, this is our reserve tank. That's full, that's empty. Right there, that's our 3/4 mark. So I'm going to fill it back up to there. And then I'm going to take it inside and let it warm back up, because since we wanted to keep the bin up and the guys had to flood both arenas last night, we had to keep it outside because it won't fit in the garage with the bin up, and it needed to be out of the way for the guys to be able to get back and forth. So what we did is we opened up the water lines and let the water drain out, and we just parked the machine in a place that it was safe to let the water drain out without making a big patch of ice, and also not having it where the hydraulic leak is. So where the pylons are, there is where the hydraulic leak happened, and we put down this absorbent stuff, kind of looks like kitty litter, to soak up the hydraulic fluid, and then that got scraped up and double bagged today. And then last night I just towed the Olympia with the truck and parked it over here closer to the garage, so that it was well out of the way when we drained, because if we had drained it in place there, then we would have had the hot water going into the hydraulic fluid and making a big mess. So drained it over here so that none of the lines would freeze up, and then did the repairs on it today. Hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what happened and how it was fixed. And something I should make sure I mention is, anytime you're dealing with any hydraulic leaks, you never want to search for hydraulic leaks using your hands or doing anything to put yourself in the way of a potential hydraulic leak. Fortunately, this leak, it was a fast one, so it released all the fluid quickly, and there wasn't any high pressure spray. But these hydraulic lines can hold a lot of pressure, and so if you get what's called a pinhole leak, say there's just a tiny little leak in this hose the size of a pin, you would have hydraulic fluid spraying out of there with so much pressure that it can easily cut your hands and enter your skin, even if you're wearing gloves. So you could be you could hear it spraying potentially, and maybe you take this cover off in order to investigate. And when you take the cover off, then you get hit with the spray, and hydraulic fluid is really bad for you. Like if you get it in your skin, like if you get hit with a spray like that, it could mean like the amputation of your hand. It's really not. You don't ever want to get hit with a hydraulic leak. So if you ever do have that happen, immediately to the hospital and get it dealt with. But the best is just to avoid it. If you are ever searching for a hydraulic leak, like you hear some hissing or something like that, you don't want to search with your hand. You want to use cardboard or something else to make sure you're doing it carefully from a safe distance and wearing all the PPE possible. Okay, if you have any questions, just ask.